The invitation sat in my inbox like a ticking time bomb. Annual Harper Family Beach House Reunion. Save the date. My sister Rachel's chipper mass email might as well have been sent to everyone except me. I already knew how this was gonna go down, just like it had for the past 5 years. My name's Natalie, and I'm the family disappointment. At least, that's what my mother Carolyn never forgets to remind me. Whether it's with a pointed silence or one of those barely contained sighs of disapproval. You're not gonna let it get to you again this year, right? Eric leaned over the top of my cubicle wall, eyebrows pulled together in that concerned way of his. I snapped the email closed. Of course not, I lied, forcing a smile. Just another day at the office. But it wasn't. Not really. That beach house, it held every real memory from my childhood. Before everything shifted. Before I got cast as the outsider. I remember the summer I turned 12. That's when it started. Natalie, sweetheart, why don't you help out in the kitchen? That was Mom. Meanwhile, Rachel got to sit in on Dad's business meetings out on the deck. Trevor, honey, go show the neighbors your new project. And there I was, left alone. Nose in a book they all said was a waste of time. My phone buzzed. A text from Amanda, my best friend since forever. Let me guess. Another reunion email? I typed back. Bingo. Want to bet how long till Mom calls to explain the limited space this year? The answer? Less than an hour. Carolyn's name flashed on my screen, right on schedule. Natalie, darling, she started, her voice syrupy sweet. About the reunion. Let me save you the trouble, Mom, I cut in. Shocking even myself with how steady I sounded. The house is too full, right? Rachel's kids need space? Or is it Trevor's new girlfriend who gets a room this year? Dead silence. And then finally, well, you know how it is, she said. Rachel's children are at such an important age. I glanced at the unopened envelope sitting on my desk. The promotion letter. Senior Vice President at 35. The youngest in company history. Not that they knew. Yeah, Mom, I said softly. I know exactly how it is. After we hung up, I walked straight to Thomas Hale's office. My mentor. My boss. My sanity check for the past 10 years. He looked up from his computer and immediately read my face. Family? He asked, nodding toward the chair across from him. I dropped into it with a sigh. Sometimes I wonder why I still let it get to me. Because you're human, he said, matter of fact. But you know what the best revenge is? Success. I offered with a weak smile. No. He leaned in, eyes gleaming. The best revenge is becoming so successful they can't ignore you anymore. Then with a smirk. Speaking of, have you considered my proposal on the Callahan merger? I pulled out my tablet, shaking off the weight of family. Actually, yeah. I've been running some numbers. What if we approached it from a different angle? And just like that, I was back in my element. Work. Logic. Power. The place where I belonged. As I laid out my strategy to Thomas, the confidence came rushing back. Later that night, driving home through the rain, Amanda called. You know what you need, she said, skipping the small talk. A plan. A plan for what? To show them exactly what they've been missing. You're not that scared little girl anymore, Natalie. You're a force now. Own it. I stopped at a red light, watching the city lights blur behind raindrops on the glass. Colors smeared like a painting. What's the point? They've made it pretty clear where I stand. The point is you deserve better. And maybe it's time they saw that. After we hung up, I sat in my car, staring at my apartment building. Top floor. Lake Tahoe views. 10 years ago, I was just an intern. Fighting tooth and nail for a chance. Now I had everything they said I never would. Success. Respect. Freedom. Everything except a family that accepted me. Ping. Another email. This time from Rachel, photo dump from last year's reunion. Laughing faces. Inside jokes. Moments I wasn't in. But instead of the usual ache, something else stirred. Resolve. I opened my laptop and pulled up the real estate listing I'd been tracking for months. The family beach house. Its market value had taken a dive during the economic downturn. And my parents? Couldn't afford the upkeep anymore. Time for a different kind of investment, I whispered. And hit the contact agent button. Maybe Amanda was right. Maybe it was time for a plan. Not for revenge. For justice. The kind that pays interest. The merger isn't just about combining assets, I said, standing in front of the boardroom like I owned the place. My navy blue suit felt like armor. My laser pointer slid across the numbers glowing behind me. It's about redefining our market presence. From the far end of the table, Eric gave me a subtle thumbs up. We'd worked on this for weeks. We knew how much was riding on it. And you're confident in these projections? Mr. Callahan leaned forward, skeptical but curious. The scent of old leather and cologne hung in the air. I stake my name on them, I said clearly. More than that, I stake the future of both companies. Thomas spoke up from his seat beside him. Natalie has never steered us wrong. Her record speaks louder than any chart. 2 hours later, handshakes sealed the deal. Preliminary agreement signed. As the board filed out, Thomas pulled me aside. That was incredible, he said, grinning. But why didn't you mention the Singapore promotion? This merger guarantees it. My stomach flipped. Singapore. The role of a lifetime. And scheduled to start the same week as the reunion. Still weighing my options, I said slowly. Back at my desk, Eric perched on the edge, coffee in hand. All right, spill. What's really holding you back? This is everything you've worked for. Before I could answer, my phone buzzed. Rachel's name lit up the screen. I let it go to voicemail. That's what's holding her back, Amanda said, striding in with lunch bags. Family drama. As always. Weren't we meeting at the cafe? I asked, grateful for the distraction. Changed my mind. I wanted to see the post-presentation glow firsthand. She handed out sandwiches, then gave me a look. So, Singapore. News travels fast, I muttered. Good news should travel fast, Eric chimed in. You're not actually thinking of passing this up because of them, right? My phone buzzed again. A text from Rachel. Mom's asking if you got the reunion email. Please respond. Amanda snatched my phone. Oh, hell no. You know what this is? It's them realizing they can't ignore you anymore. The family gossip vine must have picked up your promotion. Give me my phone, I said, reaching for it. She held it out of reach. Not until you promise to stop letting them steer your decisions. I'm not, I started, but Eric jumped in. Natalie, remember last month's charity gala? You commanded a room full of CEOs like it was your personal fan club. That's who you really are, eh? Not the invisible middle kid they've boxed you into. Buzz? Again. Trevor this time. Hey sis, long time. Got a minute to catch up. Suddenly everyone wants to talk, I said dryly. Because you're impossible to ignore now, Amanda smirked. Now about Singapore. The timing. I began. Is perfect, Eric cut in. Show them what they gave up her. While they're off pretending everything's picture perfect at their little beach house reunion. Just then, Thomas appeared in my doorway. Natalie, Mr. Callahan wants to go over implementation strategies. Dinner tonight. I straightened my blazer. Text me the details. As he walked off, Amanda raised an eyebrow. Look at you. Power moves only. It's just dinner, I said, But I was already smiling. Just dinner with one of the most powerful men in the industry, Eric teased. Meanwhile, your family probably thinks you're still filing paperwork at some no-name firm. My phone lit up again. This time Carolyn. Natalie, dear, please call when you can. Important family matters to discuss. Amanda read it over my shoulder. Important family matters? Please. Translation, we're out of excuses and we don't like it. I grabbed my presentation binder. My mind was already shifting gears toward the evening ahead. They can keep their excuses, I said, sliding my tablet into my bag. I've got an empire to build. That's my girl, Eric grinned. Speaking of building things, have you made an offer on the beach house yet? Tomorrow, I said, checking my lipstick in the compact mirror. The agent says we're the only serious buyers right now. Perfect timing, Amanda sang. Right before the reunion announcement. Chef's kiss. As I grabbed my coat and headed for the Callahan dinner, I felt lighter than I had in weeks. They might have spent years shrinking me down. But in this world, my world, I was anything but small. Hey, Eric called as I walked out. Don't forget who you are in there. Show em what Natalie Unleashed looks like. I smiled, thinking about that beach house listing waiting in my inbox. Oh, they were gonna find out exactly who I am. Congratulations, Miss Harper. The beach house is yours. The real estate agent slid the keys across the desk, their cold shine catching under the office lights. My hand trembled slightly as I picked them up. Not just keys. Symbols. The past. And more importantly, the future. I can't believe you actually did it, Amanda whispered, squeezing my arm. The agent smiled politely. Paperwork will be finalized by end of day. Given current market trends, you made a very strategic investment. Walking out, I clenched the keys so tightly they left marks in my palm. My phone rang. David. Tell me you closed it, he said without preamble. Just signed. Perfect timing. Singapore's yours if you want it. Board approved it this morning. I stopped mid-step, causing Amanda to bump into me. Already? I thought that wasn't being decided till next month. Your performance at the Callahan dinner sealed it. And by the way, he wants you leading the merger transition. Amanda bounced beside me like an over-caffeinated cheerleader. I ended the call. She grabbed my shoulders. Okay, this is insane. You just bought their beloved beach house. You're about to become an international exec. Please tell me you're gonna milk this for all it's worth. My phone buzzed again. Rachel, family meeting this weekend about the reunion. Mom says you have to come. Please. Amanda lost it. No. No, this is too good. They don't even know you own their reunion venue. Neither does the agent, I reminded her. The purchase went through my corporation. Oh, you sneaky genius. She looped her arm through mine as we walked toward the car. So what's the move? Before I could answer, Eric called. Just heard from David. 2 major wins, congrats. You are taking Singapore, right? Haven't decided, I said, putting him on speaker. What's to decide? You get to lead the merger, go global. And let the family stew in their awkward silence and outdated judgment. Speaking of stewing. Amanda grinned. Natalie just got summoned to a family meeting this weekend. No way. Eric laughed. You going? I turned onto the coastal highway, wind off the ocean sweeping through the windows. My beach house set just up ahead. Yeah, I said, eyes on the horizon. I think it's time for a little visit. The road felt different now. Every curve, every tree-lined view of the ocean. It all belonged to me. Late afternoon sun stretched across the pavement. The radio hummed softly beneath the roar of the waves. I pulled up in front of the old Victorian house. Faded blue siding, white trim. Exactly how I remembered it. Just a little more worn. A little more mine. Amanda let out a low whistle. I forgot how stunning this place is. No wonder they're so desperate to keep those reunions alive. Walking up the steps, I slid the new key into the lock. The door creaked open, releasing the familiar scent of sea salt and memories. Summer nights. Family dinners. Whispers behind closed doors. But now, underneath all that nostalgia, was the unmistakable scent of victory. My phone rang. Carolyn. Natalie, are you coming this weekend? Rachel said she texted you. Actually, Mom, I'm at the beach house right now. Silence. Then. What? How? The realtor said it was sold. Did she? I let the word hang in the air. Interesting. Interesting. I wandered through the living room, fingers trailing along the chipped molding and worn hardwoods. Don't worry about it. I'll see you this weekend. Click. I ended the call before she could recover. Amanda had her phone out, recording the whole thing, barely keeping it together. That was gorgeous, she grinned. Did you hear her voice crack? Iconic. Send me that video, Eric chimed in over speaker. Posterity demands it. I opened the French doors to the deck, stepped out into the ocean breeze. The planks groaned underfoot, just like they used to when I was little. Waves rolled in below, steady and rhythmic. Like a heartbeat. You know what's funny? I said quietly. They always claimed I didn't respect tradition. But I'm the one who preserved it. By buying it out from under them, Amanda added, not even trying to hide her smirk. Sometimes the best revenge isn't destroying what they love. I watched the surf pound the shore. It's protecting it on your terms. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Texts from Rachel. Trevor. Mom. I ignored them all. So Eric's voice crackled through the speaker. What's the next move, boss? I smiled to myself, already picturing their faces. Now, we prep for a reunion they'll never forget. Want company this weekend? Amanda offered. I'm excellent at looking smug in the background. No, I said, pulling out my laptop. This one's just me. But first, I have a Singapore acceptance letter to write. I stood at the edge of the deck, staring out at my ocean. Every piece of the plan falling into place. The scared little girl who once hid in these walls? Gone. And in her place? Someone they could never ignore again. The sound of car doors slamming jolted me from my work. I'd been reviewing merger docs all morning, watching the tide roll in from my new home office. Then I heard them. Familiar voices floating in from the driveway. Mom, I'm telling you, Natalie was acting weird on the phone, Rachel's voice cut through the breeze. She's always weird, Trevor replied. Remember last Christmas? I closed my laptop slowly. My heart pounded. They were early. The family meeting wasn't until tomorrow. Through the upstairs window, I watched them unload like they still owned the place. Carolyn in her favorite cream cardigan. Dad with his usual duffel bag. The kids racing up the walkway carefree. All of them dressed like they were coming home. But this wasn't their home anymore. My phone lit up. Eric. Game time. They're early, I texted back. Wish me luck. Show no mercy. The rattle of keys at the front door. Confused voices. Mom, your key's not working. Rachel called. That can't be. I had it checked last month. I descended the stairs, each step deliberate. The sound of my Louboutins echoing through the quiet house. They heard me coming. I opened the front door and smiled. Looking for something? Carolyn gasped, hand to her chest. Natalie. What are you doing here? How did you get in? I live here, I said simply. Stepping aside. Come on in. My house is your house, literally. The silence that followed? Delicious. Rachel's jaw dropped. Trevor dropped his bag. What do you mean you live here? Carolyn finally asked, her voice shaky. I led them toward the kitchen. Coffee? I just made a fresh pot. Colombian roast. Still your favorite, right, Mom? Natalie. Rachel's voice had that condescending edge I remembered too well. What is going on? I poured myself a cup, savoring the steam. The kitchen hadn't changed much. Still pale yellow. Still clinging to the past. That was going to change too. Thought the meeting was tomorrow, I said lightly. Did I miss a memo? Oh wait. I'm not usually invited to those, am I? Stop playing games, Trevor snapped. How are you even in here? This is our family house. I pulled out my phone and tapped. Actually, I said, turning the screen toward them, it's mine now. Has been for 2 weeks. Want to see the deed? Carolyn collapsed into a chair. That's impossible. We would have known. Would you? I raised an eyebrow. When's the last time any of you asked what I've been doing with my life? I sipped my coffee. No? That's okay. It's imported. Rachel grabbed my phone, scrolling in disbelief. This can't be real. How could you even afford it? The same way I afford my penthouse in Lake Tahoe, my car collection, my vacation homes. I leaned against the counter. I work. Remember work? That thing you all said I'd never figure out. You're what? Trevor choked. Another car door slammed. Dad's voice boomed. Why is everyone standing around? Help me with these groceries. And here, Dad, I called sweetly. Let me give you a hand. He stepped into the doorway, arms full of bags, and froze. Natalie? What's going on? Looks like the family meeting came early. I took the bags from him, unpacking them into my kitchen. Though next time, maybe check with me before stocking my fridge. Your house. He looked at Carolyn, who still hadn't moved. Why don't we all sit down, I said, nodding toward the dining room. Looks like we've got some catching up to do. They followed stunned, silent, like kids sent to the principal's office. We sat around the old table, the same one where I'd once cleared plates and washed dishes while they laughed without me. Only now, I sat at the head, Dad's old spot. I smiled calm, unbothered. So I said, fingers laced in front of me, about this year's reunion. You can't just buy our family home. Rachel burst out, her voice rising. This is our tradition. Funny thing about traditions, I said, casually examining my manicure. They're only as strong as the people willing to maintain them. So tell me, where was your precious tradition when the bank started foreclosure proceedings? Carolyn's head snapped up. How did you know about that? I know everything, Mom. The missed payments, the second mortgage, the tax liens. I know because unlike some people, I do my homework before making investment decisions. Buzz? Amanda? Need backup? All good. Operation Karma in progress, I texted back. I looked up at their stunned faces and smiled. Now, about those reunion plans. I was thinking it might be time for a few changes. I gestured toward the sweeping ocean view behind me. New house. New rules. The dawning realization on their faces? Better than any merger I'd ever negotiated. You could have told us, Rachel said, breaking the silence. About your success. Your career. Everything. Could I? I arched a brow. When exactly? Between all the invitations I didn't get, or the holiday calls that never came. Dad cleared his throat. Now, Natalie, that's not entirely fair. Fair? I let out a short, sharp laugh that made Carolyn flinch. Let's talk about fair. Remember my college graduation? The one you all skipped, because Trevor had a soccer game. That was different, she said quickly. Trevor was up for a scholarship, which he didn't get, I finished. Meanwhile, I was accepting my MBA. With honors. But you wouldn't know that because none of you even asked. Buzz? David? Singapore announcement goes public tomorrow. Perfect timing. Proceed as planned. I replied with a single thumbs-up emoji, feeling the full weight of the moment settle in my favor. Trevor leaned forward, eyes narrowed. So what now? You gonna hold this over our heads? Make us beg to use our own family house. Your family house? I stood, slowly, and walked to the kitchen counter. Come take a look at what your family house looked like when I bought it. I pulled out a folder and spread the photos across the island. Rotting deck. Leaking roof. Electrical wiring that could have turned this place into a bonfire. 60 grand in repairs. Another 100 in renovations. Where was your family pride then? Rachel picked up a photo, face draining of color. We had no idea it was this bad. No, you didn't. Because none of you cared to check. You just assumed everything would magically fix itself. Just like you assumed I'd never amount to anything. Dad stood abruptly. That's enough. We may have made mistakes, but you're still our daughter. Am I? I turned to face him, rain now tapping against the windows like a ticking clock. Because from where I'm standing, I've been your afterthought for the past 20 years. Buzz? News alert. The Singapore story leaked early. Carolyn's phone buzzed seconds later. Her eyes widened as she read aloud. Vice President of International Operations? Natalie, you're moving to Singapore. Among other things, I said, pouring more coffee. The merger I closed last week is worth more than this house and everything in it. Rachel grabbed the phone from her. Youngest exec in company history, projected to triple market share, revolutionary strategy. Impossible, Trevor muttered. You're just Natalie. Just Natalie, I repeated quietly. Funny how that works, huh? The daughter you never believed in now owns your beach house and runs a global division. Dad slumped back in his seat. Why didn't you ever tell us? I tried. Every time I brought up work, you changed the subject. To Rachel's kids or Trevor's latest app idea. Every promotion? Met with a "that's nice, honey." Every win? Buried under someone else's milestone. Buzz? Jason. Stocks up 12% on Singapore news. You're trending on LinkedIn. Carolyn was still staring at her phone. These numbers, Natalie, there. More than you can imagine? I shrugged. Yeah, they are. And that's just the beginning. So what happens now? Rachel asked softly. With the reunion? With everything. I walked to the window, rain turning the world into a sheet of silver. Lightning flashed over the ocean I now owned. The horizon cracked open in light. Now, I took a deep breath. Now we do things differently. The reunion? Trevor asked again. It's still happening. I turned slowly. Just under new management. Meaning, he challenged. Meaning I've already booked the top floor of the Waldorf Astoria for everyone. Private chefs. Ocean views. Spa access. The beach house. Needs a little time alone with its new owner. Carolyn's voice trembled. You're kicking us out? No, Mom. I met her eyes. I'm showing you what it feels like to be excluded. Only difference? I'm doing it with 5-star accommodations and champagne on ice. Dad's face went pale. Natalie, this isn't like you. Isn't it? Or is it just that you never really knew me at all? I faced them fully. All these years, you saw what you wanted to see. The disappointing middle child. The career girl who wouldn't settle down. The one who never quite fit the Harper family mold. That's not fair, Rachel protested. I picked up one of the renovation photos. You want to talk about fair? Fair is watching every tiny win of yours celebrated while my milestones got ignored. Fair is hearing maybe next time, every time I ask to be included. Fair is having to buy my childhood home just to earn a seat at this table. We never meant, Carolyn started. That's the point. You never meant to hurt me. But you also never meant to include me. The only sound was the storm outside. Rain. Thunder. Silence. It was the sound of truth settling into old walls. So that's it. Trevor said at last. You win, we lose? I smiled, cool, calm, unshaken. I don't see it as winning or losing. I see it as boundaries. Long overdue ones. I picked up my coffee, walked back to the head of the table, and sat down. Now, shall we go over the new reunion rules? The silence that followed was heavy, but none of it was mine. The Waldorf Astoria lobby buzzed with quiet luxury as my family checked into their suites. I hung back, watching Rachel's kids dart around the marble columns while Trevor awkwardly tried to charm the concierge with bad small talk. Your car is ready, Miss Harper, the valet said, nodding respectfully. Carolyn's head snapped up at the tone in his voice. Her eyes widened as she spotted my Bentley out front, gleaming in the afternoon sun, raindrops still glistening on the hood like diamonds. Natalie, she called, hurrying over. We need to talk. Properly? Actually, I've got a meeting, I said, checking my watch. The merger doesn't pause for family drama. Please. She touched my arm. The first time in years. Just coffee? 20 minutes. I studied her face. New lines. A few silver strands escaping her perfect blowout. And for a moment, I didn't see the woman who spent my childhood criticizing me. I saw a mother who was finally realizing what she'd lost. Fine. Rooftop lounge. 15 minutes. Upstairs, she fidgeted with her cup while I fired off emails about Singapore. Then, finally, I didn't know you were so accomplished. I put my phone down. Clearly, though you never asked. We thought. She hesitated. After you left law school. I didn't leave, I said sharply. I chose business school. On a full scholarship to Northwestern. Which, by the way, was in the letter I sent. You remember letters, right? Your father and I, we just wanted you to have a stable career. Like Rachel's law degree she never used? Or Trevor's carousel of startups you keep bankrolling? The door opened. Amanda walked in, then paused. Oh, sorry. I didn't realize. Stay, I waved her over. Mom was just explaining why they never believed in me. Mrs. Harper, Amanda nodded coolly. Been a while. Though I doubt you remember me, what with all those holidays Natalie spent with me while you were at Rachel's house. Carolyn looked flustered. Amanda, of course I. Save it, she said, sliding into the seat beside me. I'm just here to finalize Natalie's Singapore relocation package. You know, for that little promotion nobody asked her about. Buzz? Text from Rachel. Mom okay? She looks upset. She's fine, I typed back. Learning some hard truths. Natalie? My mother's voice was barely a whisper. Were we really that terrible? Amanda snorted. I held up a hand. You weren't terrible, Mom. You were indifferent. Which was worse? We can fix this, she pleaded. Now that we know. Now that I'm successful, I cut in. Now that I have power and money and leverage. That's not fixing anything. That's just you rewriting the narrative because I made it impossible to ignore me. The door opened again. Dad, your mother's been gone a while. Oh. Come in, I said, gesturing to the open seat. We're having a lovely chat about family dynamics. He sat down with a groan. Natalie. About the beach house. Already done, I said, cutting him off. Back taxes cleared. Liens removed. Full renovation underway. You're welcome. That's not what you meant. I gave a tight smile. Yeah, it never is. Amanda opened her laptop. Natalie, we need to lock in your housing allowance. 3 options. The penthouse in Marina Bay Residences, I said without hesitation. Carolyn's coffee cup rattled against the saucer. Penthouse. Did you think international VPs live in studio apartments? Amanda asked sweetly. Buzz? Trevor again. Family dinner tonight? My treat. Can't, I replied. Board dinner at 11 Madison Park. Dad leaned forward. Natalie, we know we messed up. But the beach house. Singapore. Is this really the way to handle things? I stood. The sun had finally broken through the clouds, washing the rooftop in gold. The beach house wasn't about shutting you out. It was about owning what you never thought I deserved. I turned to face them. And Singapore? That's just good business. Carolyn's voice cracked. When will we see you again? I'll be back for the holidays. I gathered my things with smooth precision. Maybe, if I'm not too busy running my division. Amanda rose with me, her smile positively gleaming. Don't worry, Mrs. Harper. I'm sure Rachel will keep you updated on all the family news. She always has before. As we stepped into the elevator, I heard Carolyn start to cry. And for a second, just a second, I almost turned around. Almost. But that part of me, the part that always comforted her, that always begged for scraps, was shrinking more and more every day. You okay? Amanda asked softly as the door slid shut. I glanced at my reflection in the mirrored walls, adjusted my designer blazer. Every line of my face looked steady, calm, in control. Even better. I smirked. Ready for that board dinner? Born ready, she grinned. Though you are really making them stay at the hotel the whole reunion week? I didn't even blink. Oh, that's just the beginning. Wait until they see what I've got planned for Christmas. The reunion dinner in the Waldorf Astoria ballroom? It was exactly what I'd envisioned. Crystal chandeliers sparkled overhead. A string quartet played something elegant and low. Servers in white gloves glided between tables with practiced grace. And at the center sat my family, looking utterly miserable in their hastily borrowed formal wear. Is all this really necessary? Trevor muttered, tugging at a too-tight tie. The concierge had provided last-minute wardrobe options when I'd forgotten to mention the dress code. You mean the five-star catering? The premium open bar? The private balcony with the ocean view? I took a slow sip of champagne. Think of it as making up for all those reunions I wasn't invited to. Rachel's husband whistled as silver trays of caviar were unveiled. Is this real beluga? Only the best for family, I smiled sweetly. Oh, I'm sure it's no match for the sandwich platters and plastic cups from years past. Carolyn hadn't touched her food. Can we talk? She asked, barely above a whisper. I led her out to the balcony. The ocean breeze wrapped around us, rich with the scent of salt and money. Far off in the distance, lights from the beach house twinkled across the dark shore. My beach house. Inside, I could hear Rachel's kids shrieking with joy over the chocolate fountain. Carolyn stared out at the water. This is cruel, she said quietly. Cruel. I turned to her. You think luxury is cruelty now? You know what I mean. Flaunting all this. Your success. The way you flaunted Rachel's law school graduation? Or Trevor's engagement party? The ones I wasn't invited to. I leaned against the railing, watching the tide roll in. I don't need your guilt, Mom. I just want you to understand what you missed. Every milestone. Every accomplishment. Every ignored message. All of it built the version of me that can book out a whole hotel floor without blinking. The balcony doors opened again. And there he was. Natalie. Thomas Hale nodded, then turned to Carolyn. Mrs. Harper. I'm Thomas Hale. I've had the honor of mentoring your daughter for the past 10 years. Carolyn's mouth parted in shock. You're her boss? The one from the news. Actually. He smiled. As of next month, Natalie will be my equal in the corporate structure. Possibly even my superior, depending on how quickly her division scales. I watched the recognition bloom in her eyes. The reality finally sinking in. The Singapore position. She whispered. It's really that big? Mom, I laughed softly. I'll be running half of Asia. My signing bonus alone could buy the beach house twice. Thomas checked his watch. Tokyo's expecting us on Zoom. Shall we? Of course. I turned to Carolyn one last time. Enjoy the rest of dinner, Mom. The dessert course includes gold leaf. Try not to think about the cost. As Thomas and I walked away, he leaned closer and muttered just loud enough for me to hear. Brutal. I love it.